Calistoga, Santa Rosa, Idaho, KBSX HD3 Boise, Iowa, KWI HD3 Sioux City, KOJI Okoboji, KALA HD2 Davenport, K291 BP Bettendorf, in Texas, KXJT Rio Grande City, Washington, KSBR Mount Vernon, and in Wyoming.
Está usted escuchando KBBF 89.1 FM Calistoga.
Salsa.
KBBF, tu estación de radio comunitaria, te invita a ti y a toda tu familia a su primer evento Cena Baile del año, el próximo 17 de enero, desde las 6 de la tarde hasta las 10 de la noche. En el Centro de Carpinteros, en el 1700 de la Avenida Corby, en Santa Rosa. Habrá música del locutor de KBBF, Rubén Sandoval, del programa Ritmos Antillanos, con clases para bailar salsa y bachata por los maestros Pablo López y Antonio Morán de la organización Sonoma Latin Arts. Tendremos sabrosa comida y bebidas a la venta. La entrada solamente $10 por adulto, 15 por pareja, 5 estudiantes y niños menores de 12 años entran gratis. Vengan, bailen y disfruten. Este es un evento para recaudar fondos para KBBF. Para mayor información, comunícate al 707-545-8833 o también comunícate con el locutor en turno al 707-545-0318. 707-545-0318. Aquí te esperamos.
I don't want another drinking man in my life. I want to feel more fulfilled. Does my happiness depend on whether someone else drinks? My pastor suggested I try Al-Anon family groups, and I'm glad I did. Are you troubled by someone else's drinking? You might be surprised at what you could learn in an Al-Anon family group from people just like you. Call 1-888-4-AL-ANON or go to alanon.org.
Niños como yo escuchan KBBF 89.1 FM, la voz de tu comunidad, porque es divertida.
All right. Hello, everybody. You are listening to The Queer Life, LGBT news, modern perspectives, roundtable discussions, and interviews. I am your host, Kaya Kramer, and I'm joined, as always, with my co-host, Mandy Howards.
I'm always here. It's like crazy.
Always. Just like, in fact, she never leaves.
I live here.
Yeah. And this show, LGBT, that is lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender. We've actually covered a longer acronym in the past in
LGBTQIAAN. N for nerd.
Yeah. And
should we add bronies? Should we add two B's?
Maybe we should add two.
Yeah, we should add LGBT. Because we did an episode recently on bronies, right?
Yeah, we did.
We had we had Byron who kind of helped start the whole craze in the first place.
Yeah, back on 4chan, and it's pretty interesting. So all you listeners out there who are bronies or Pega sisters, welcome.
Yeah, I hope we have a brony audience now and some Pega sisters, right? And it would make this show like 20% cooler. So
I know, seriously. So respectfully, of course.
Oh yeah,
yeah. And to a lot of you out there too, Happy New Year, 2015.
Woo! We've been doing shows already in the new year, like.
You know what? I want to say happy birthday. I mean, happy New Year. I was gonna say happy birthday.
Happy New Year to the new year.
Yeah. So to those of you wondering, whether this show is permanent and is a regular recurring thing.
Yes, we're not going to be off the air anytime soon.
Sorry to disappoint you. But also, this show it's streamed online, and you can actually go to thequeerlife.org and watch every episode. Yes, I said watch. because we do a YouTube stream live online from the interwebs. I don't know what I'm talking about like that, but if you go on there, you can just click on the current episode, and it's usually the first thing you see in the little video slider on the front page or the first article, or you can just click KBBF 89.1 at the top of thequeerlife.org, and that will bring you to our list of episodes, and so you can go back all the way back to our very first episode, where we pretty much define every definition within LGBTQIAA, or wait, LGBTQIAN. You know, we're gonna have to start. You know, it's funny because
Can we get an abbreviation for the abbreviation?
yeah,
Like,
the queer community,
the queer. There you go.
the queer life.
So are we calling bronies queer people?
You know, I guess we just did. But that's an insult because we're queer.
Yeah, we're queer and we love it. And we love people in the queer community.
Yeah, so
they should be proud to be part of the queer community.
Proud. You know, we're proud.
Out and proud.
Yeah, and we've
Mutant and proud.
Mutant and proud. But it's like gonna be a civil war. For all you nerds out there, if you get any of our nerdy references, please tweet us at The Queer Live. We absolutely love it.
And actually, if you donate $1,000 to the station, we'll stop our nerdy references.
We will stop.
We'll stop
Yeah.
for like a whole day.
Yeah, for a whole day. It'll start on the next episode.
Yeah.
We'll reference the fact that you donated money and stop ourselves.
Yeah, we will
Yeah.
stop any kind of nerd references that nobody
Yeah.
gets.
If you donate $2,000, we might even stop giggling during an episode.
No, that's a little harder to do.
That's so it's gonna have to be a
Yeah.
good donation. If you'd like to make any donations and you want to support this radio show and you like other shows on KBBF 89.1 FM, go to kbbf-fm.org and scroll at the bottom and hit the donate link. You know, it's a great organization. It's a grassroots organization, all volunteer run. You know, there's no there's no big government money coming into here. It's all people who have big hearts and stuff. And so, on behalf of myself and the other programmers, we love doing the work to to share what we have with you.
Should we do another little recap? I know I didn't get to be here last week when you did the show. You had to do it by yourself,
Right.
and I was coughing too much. I couldn't.
Yeah, I see how it is.
But on the previous show to that one, we talked about Leila Alcorn,
Yes.
and we're talking about suicide and all that stuff. Do you have the number?
Oh, right. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the suicide line.
It was a hard episode to listen to, and it's a very important topic. We'll probably cover it again at some point. Sadly, we'll cover it again, but because it's important to keep reminding people that these are individuals, they're real people, they're real lives, and they matter, and we can't just let them go away without saying something and without putting it out there that it needs to be fixed.
Right. Gosh, yeah, that was a tough episode to do. I have it on I have it on the resources page. If you need any help, you yourself need help, or you know anybody else that needs help, we've listed a few resources, some crisis lines on the website. If you go to thequeerlife.org/help, it's just a help link at the top of the Queer Life page. There's certainly you can contact us, but it's by no means are we certified mental health professionals, nor doctors, lawyers, anything like that. We can just try to connect you up with other resources. And so I don't want to give you any false information or mislead you that we're going to be able to do a whole lot. But we're queer. Specifically, Mandy and I are trans.
Can you define that again?
Yeah.
I know we talk about it all the time.
Yeah. So trans, for a lot of our listeners out there, trans is the Latin prefix meaning across or beyond. But trans is also shorthand for saying transgender. And
So would that make the store Bed Bath and Trans?
Oh my god, that's so good. I've never thought about it like that.
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh.
I have horrible jokes.
We're talking about a crisis line right now. Okay, Linda, honey, listen. So
Listen.
Yeah,
Listen, Linda, listen.
Trans, short for transgender.
Mhm.
It's sort of, it's if you don't want to use so many syllables, you just say trans. I am a trans woman. She is a trans woman. He is a trans man. If you're talking about trans men,
Mhm.
which I'm sure most of you have no idea.
And we want to put it out there here. First people to really admit it, but trans men do exist. Yeah, they're real. I've met a couple. They're like unicorns, though.
Yeah, very
Very
rare.
rare.
But also, so transgender means you identify across or beyond the gender you were assigned at birth. As in, you popped out of your mom's womb, and the doctor's like, "It's a boy," or "It's a girl," and there's like a Monty Python joke. It's like, "Oh, it's a boy," and "Is it a boy or girl?" The mom asks, and the doctor's like, "Well, it's a bit early to be assigning gender roles now, isn't it?" And I think they said it a bit tongue in cheek, but it's kind of a true idea.
You lost me like a minute ago.
You know what? It's fine. But so trans is transgender, and that can encompass a whole lot of other stuff.
Now, are drag queens transgender?
Technically, yes.
Technically, yes, or technically, no.
That's under current and past definitions.
They're put under the umbrella.
The umbrella of transgender.
But if you think about the definition, they don't fall under trans.
Yeah. Because drag queens do not identify with being a woman.
Strictly speaking, they're cisgender or cissexual gay men.
Yeah. And what's just a cisgender again?
Cisgender is the opposite of trans. It's a term pretty much coined by the trans community to avoid saying things like normal girl or normal boy or genetic boy, genetic girl. It just means the opposite of trans, which trans is across from or beyond. Then cis is on the side of.
Yes.
And
I know a lot of people out there are like rolling their eyes. "Oh, why do we need another label? It's just trying to be all politically correct. Blah blah blah." What would you have to say to somebody?
Well, for obviously, nobody has to be labeled if they don't want to be labeled. I mean, you don't have to accept the label that anybody gives you. But at the same time, having labels allows us to have discussions about topics that are hard to discuss. In other words, if I have a label, if I say I'm transgender, and you know what transgender means, then you know a little bit about what I'm talking about. It doesn't describe me fully as a person. There's so many aspects to me besides being transgender, but it allows me to, give you a quick description of myself and tells you a whole lot. So, I mean, in that sense, labels are a good thing. When other people label you, that's a bad thing. So if you're going to use labels, label yourself.
Right.
Don't allow other people to label you. Even us.
Yeah. So if you have a problem with anything that we're saying on here, contact us, please. We certainly enjoy it. Even give us a call. You can give us a call at any point during this show, 707-545-0318. Feel free to ask us any questions and challenge us on it too. We're by no means are we like the transgender authority, or
actually we are becoming the authority.
This is true. Well, we are the elite guard of the.
You might say we're becoming the man.
The man. That's whoa. I see what you did there. For those of you who are watching the online feed or listening, and you might be hearing laughter in the background, that is my homie, longtime colleague in my professional and career life, and my personal confidant. I'm not gonna say his name unless he gives me permission.
Yes.
All right, it's my friend Lionel.
And we all love Lionel.
We all love Lionel.
Mhm.
Lionel is actually queer. But
By that we mean he's a little weird.
yeah. In the old school sense of the word. But he's also queer in the sense that he's the A in the LGBT QQIAA.
Hey, you forgot T. What happened to the T? Oh my god.
We're gonna be like Texas. We're gonna leave.
We're gonna secede from this acronym.
Yes.
We don't like it here anymore.
Exactly. If you don't like it, just leave. Oh gosh, I can't believe we have a radio show.
I'm still like, I think this is not reality right now. Is this reality?
Is this really?
Is this really happening right now?
Is this? That's a reference to one of our callers for our Double Rainbows episode.
Yeah, that guy
Yeah.
was awesome.
Yeah, that was great. We love Bear.
Yosemite Bear. Is
Yeah,
great.
yeah. Oh, actually, yeah. Lionel here. He was the one that he hooked me up with Bear. I was like joking. I was like, oh my gosh, this video is amazing. This guy Bear, he's so awesome. He like seems so happy, and so I want to. He's awesome. And so Lionel was like, yeah. I know him. I hung out with him. I was like, what?
Like, we gotta hook this up.
I was like, yeah, put me in contact with him. I was like, yeah, of course, he'd love to. And he's a huge sweetheart. Well, I mean, both Lionel and Bear are huge sweethearts. We have to have a Queer Life field trip to Yosemite, and I'll bring my camera along, so we'll have like a little kind of behind the scenes on there for you as well. So stay tuned for that. That'll be fun.
Behind the scenes.
Yeah, it'll be Mandy, myself, and Bear. It'll be like a triple rainbow.
We should show up in inappropriately like dressed, just like super high heels and miniskirts to go
Yeah.
hiking in Yosemite,
That would be perfect. So we just have to play it up a little bit.
and with like beige suitcases for some reason.
No, what's the Louis Vuitton
The bags. And we need a chihuahua. If anyone wants to give us a chihuahua,
Yeah, if you'd like to donate to the Queer Life, your chihuahua for the video, feel free to give us shoot us a line. Go to thequeerlife.org/contact
Mhm.
and send us pictures of your chihuahuas. You can also send pictures of your pugs because Mandy would love that.
Yeah, I love pugs.
Yes.
I want more pugs.
So those of you who have checked out the online feed for this episode, it is we were going to have Michael A. Fumara, who is a gay attorney in Sonoma County and Marin, but he has been hospitalized recently and is extremely ill, so we're going to give him a pass on this one.
We'll wish him well and hope we get to have him on soon.
Yes. So we are going to...
Should we mention where you might know him from?
Wait, what?
Michael Fumaro. Should we mention where you might know him from?
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yes.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So recently, Michael A. Fumara had a video that went viral onto the interweb.
Mhm.
And if you watch the show At Midnight with, what's the name of the comedian?
Chris Hardwick?
Yeah,
Is
Chris
it-
Hardwick.
Is it Chris Hardwick?
It was
Yeah.
Chris Hardwick, Sarah Silverman, and I apologize, other two comedians on there. And they pulled up a video that's
Yeah, they just watch
Yeah.
random videos that they find on the internet or whatever.
that's on Michael's YouTube channel, which has a lot of legal advice on there. And this video is where he's talking to a sex doll, where you squeeze the doll's hand and it says a lot of...
And he's interviewing the sex doll as
Interviewing,
it
yeah.
speaks to him in horrible, nasty terms.
It's hilarious.
And it's done as a joke. And who shot it, Kaya? Who shot this video and edited it?
Yeah,
Who put
well,
it together?
it's actually this is what I do with my day job. Actually, I do video and tech and web, and this is one of the videos that myself and my business produced for him. So So it went national, went on Comedy Central, and they played it.
Yeah, now you have work on Comedy Central.
Yeah, so it's pretty.
Although
great.
everyone's laughing at it, but
yeah,
so it's all good.
It's all good. So if you'd like to see that video, you can visit thequeerlife.org and get a.
And are we gonna also have the doll on?
Oh, we're gonna have the doll on. We'll get her on, and we'll have fun with it. So, stay tuned. We'll probably have that on at a later point. But for now, y'all, we're gonna play a little bit of music here. We're gonna take a little.
And can we say that because Michael wasn't able to come, that's why we've been babbling for like 20 minutes?
Absolutely, yeah. So we're stalling.
We're
stalling. There's always a plan B.
There's always a plan B, and we're creating it right now.
Yes. So very good. All right, everybody, please enjoy. I've got some music with a new artist that we will be interviewing in not too long. I'm in talks with his agent, who is also a trans artist, Alyssa, who I interviewed last week. Mandy was ill, reasonably, and
I even stayed home.
Yes, she did.
All day.
Yeah, all day. So yeah, check out her music as well. You can visit thequeerlife.org. We gotta listen to Haley, Alyssa. Her middle name's Haley. Sorry, that's
Alyssa Haley.
Alyssa Haley. But she's on PrideTunes. She is on SoundCloud, on iTunes, all that stuff. Young trans girl out of Florida. Aristo is a queer artist. He is a gay male, and so we're going to play some of his music right now here, and we will be back with you after the break to give you a little intro for what is happening with some what's current events in
current
the
events,
world.
And we're going to have a news theme, right? Are we doing a theme?
Oh, well, we'll have to do it. I need one of those sound effects boxes. That would be great. All right, everybody, please enjoy a little music from Aristo. Thanks for listening. You've been if you're just tuning in right now, you've been listening to the Queer Life Radio Show, LGBT news, modern perspectives, roundtable discussions, and interviews. I'm your host, Kaya Kramer. Please enjoy some Aristo. Thanks so much.
This is my life. This morning when I open my eyes, I thank God for being alive. I never would have survived all of the struggles and deep down I hit the pain inside. So many nights and tears I cried. No longer will I fight. I'm gonna spread my wings and fly. This is my life. My life, my life. It's a brand new day, time to live my life. Living my life, my life, my life. Starting today, I'm gonna live my life. Deep down I get the pain inside. So many nights and tears I cried. No longer will I try to keep these feelings inside. This is my life. My life, my life, my life. to live my life. Living my life. My life. Starting today, I'm gonna live my life. This is my life. My life. My life. It's a brand new day, time to live my life. Living my life. My life. Starting today, I'm gonna live my life. This is my life. This morning when I opened my eyes, I thank God for being alive. I never would have survived all of the struggles and la. Deep down I hit the pain inside. So many nights and tears I cried. No longer will I cry. I'm gonna spread my wings and fly. This is my life. My life, my life. It's a brand new day, time to live my life. Living my life, my life. Starting today, I'm gonna live my life. Deep down I hit the pain inside. So many nights and tears I cried. No longer will I try to keep these feelings inside. This is my life. My life. It's a brand new day, time to live my life. Living my life. My life. Starting today, I'm gonna live my life. My life. My life. My life. It's a brand new day, time to live my life. My life. My life. My life. Starting today, I'm gonna live my life.
Párate. Estás a punto de escuchar la música del ayer, hoy y siempre. Música campirana.
Oíste decirte con todas las palabras lo que tú eres.
Música de las campiranas.
Mexicano y muy soldado, en eso no hay que dudar.
Señoras y señores, con ustedes queda Francisco Pardo en su programa Mañanitas Campeonas a través de KBBF 89.1 FM, la voz de tu comunidad, Radio Cultura. Así iniciamos.
Amigos, les invitamos a unirse al gran proyecto comunitario que es KBBF. Si a usted le interesa aprender acerca de la radio, llámenos al 707-545-8833 para inscribirse en el curso de capacitación para voluntarios de KBBF. La primera reunión toma lugar el sábado 24 de enero a las 10 de la mañana, aquí en los estudios de KBBF, ubicados en el 1700 de la avenida Corby, oficina B, en Santa Rosa. No se pierda la oportunidad. En este año nuevo, una su voz a la voz de su comunidad KBBF. Llámenos al 707-545-8833 e inscríbase en el curso de capacitación para voluntarios de KBBF.
Raising kids can be tough these days. As a parent, you've got your hands full making sure your kids have what they need to stay healthy and get the care they need when they're sick. Well, now there's help. Medicaid and the Children's Health Insurance Program offer free or low-cost health insurance for kids and teens, all the way up to age 19. They can get regular checkups, immunizations, doctor and dentist visits, hospital care, mental health services, prescriptions, and more. Children in a family of 4 earning up to $47,700 a year or more may qualify, and parents may be eligible for Medicaid too. It's a helping hand for parents with their hands full. For more information, go online to insurekidsnow.gov or call 1-877-KIDS-NOW. That's 1-877-543-7669. Enrollment is open year-round, but why wait? A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Estás escuchando KBBF Radio Colectiva, gente de la calle, tejiendo voces para una voz, la voz de nuestra comunidad.
All right, hello everybody. You are listening to the what was that? Okay, you are listening to the Queer Life LGBT News, Modern Perspectives, Roundtable Discussions, and Interviews. I am your host, Kaya Kramer, with my co-host, Mandy Howard.
Strength of a man.
Strength of a man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we've kind of been doing a little bit more defining at the beginning of this episode. I know a lot of, any of you listeners out there who've listened to our previous episodes, like, yes, I already get it. I know all the terms already. But, you know,
not everybody listens to all the episodes.
Right.
And if there's new listeners, every once in a while we need to go back and redefine.
Absolutely.
Not that we're redefining, we're going to do it again.
Yes. So what, you know, the show is Modern Perspectives and News. Sorry. And so I want to do like a little quick fire session, and Mandy and I discussed that we need to probably have like, you know what? You know, anyway, as my co-host loses it. Okay, so we've got some current events for you here. We're gonna
do the bullet point.
We're gonna do the bullet points right now.
Or are we gonna discuss any of them?
We're gonna discuss a few of them. We'll probably discuss like 2 of them. You know,
yeah, well,
which usually is what happens.
All right, go ahead.
All right, so here we go.
I'm awaiting this.
First current event is advice for America from parents who support their transgender kids. This is from BuzzFeed.com, and the little subheading is after a transgender teen committed suicide last month, referring to Leila Alcorn. Several parents, including Catholic deacon and former Southern Baptist, explain how they are raising happy transgender children. So that's some pretty incredible stuff. That despite
that it's possible to raise happy trans children.
Yeah. So okay, I'm not going to jump into the discussion.
Yeah. Well, next one.
Next article we have for you is Michael Sam proposed to Vito Comisano at the Vatican. So there was a gay proposal at the Vatican. This is huge.
Big.
So if anybody ever heard,
I'm assuming the Pope presided over there.
Exactly. So we'll cover that.
Yeah, we'll get to it.
Yeah,
we'll find out if that's true or not.
Exactly. So stay tuned. And next on the bullet point list is HRC, Human Rights Community. Saks. This headline's horrible.
Well, they took Saks Fifth Avenue.
Yeah.
They took away their gold rating or good rating on their list. Basically, they rate companies on their on their ability to be friendly to LGBT people. In other words, their policies and all that, and whether or not those individuals have protections and stuff like that. So every company is rated by the HRC on different scales.
Yeah.
So, and basically, and we can talk about why Saks had theirs suspended.
Right.
That's why they say HRC Saks.
Yeah.
It's horrible, but
yeah.
It makes more sense when you read it.
Yeah, it looks great when you read it. This is for Planet Transgender, with whom we are now in a non-financial partnership, as we are two queer organizations supporting each other. And
so they're promoting us, and we're promoting them, and sharing stories and stuff like that.
Yeah. And our promotion for them, it only goes so far as the articles that we want to share, if we even share their articles. And they tend to write a lot of fantastic stuff.
No, they're constantly writing stuff in the realm of transgender issues.
Yeah. And none of us make any money at this. So this is not.
Literally, I kind of spend money.
Yeah, I spent so much money on this. But planettransgender.com has some trans articles on there, and has a link to the Queer Life and KBBF on their front page, and so we certainly appreciate their support. Next on the list, Daily Caller op-ed blames LGBT community for suicide of transgender teen.
Yeah, I remember telling you about this one, and we definitely got to talk about that, because we'll talk about the concept of it, but we'll get back to it.
Yeah, that's
despicable.
Hard. Yeah. Leela Alcorn mourned by hundreds at vigil, and so this is more stuff. If you want to listen to the Leela Alcorn episode, I believe that is episode 20. This is episode 24 right now.
So it's 22.
Yeah, episode 22 of the Queer Life, and trigger warning if you listen to that show. Please make sure that you or anybody else who's around you is in a good mental, emotional, spiritual state, so that.
And just so everybody knows, I don't think we laughed at all.
Yeah, I think at one point maybe there was like a nervous laugh when we were like doing an aside, but
and for us not to laugh, that's bad. This is a tough episode.
If we're not laughing, we're crying.
Yeah,
not tears of happiness. So if any of you out there are curious about it, I actually encourage you to listen to it, because we cover some pretty important stuff. Not to just be negative and sad, but this people need to know, and it's not because just Leela had committed suicide, but queer people in general,
hundreds,
commit suicide every day, and a lot of them don't get any media coverage.
Transgender individuals have the highest suicide rate out of any minority group, or any group that you want to put together. We have the highest suicide rate.
Yeah,
I mean, it's right now. The last I heard was like 41 or between 47%. So nearly half of all transgender individuals attempt suicide.
Yeah, and I should probably give
and
the
compare
crisis number again.
Well, yeah, and compare that to the I guess 2 or 3% in the general population. Yeah,
not that 2 to 3% is
good.
Is good.
No,
but,
any percentage is bad.
Yeah. So that's why we share crisis, hotlines. If you are having an emergency, call 911. If your life is in danger, call 911. We want you to reach out for help. And again, I know you might have had good or bad experiences for yourself, with your family, with law enforcement or whatever. Just do what you need to do to survive. And we don't want to encourage or discourage you from proceeding with anything that's going to put you in danger, either by yourself, if you're going to harm yourself, or if other people are going to harm you. So if you're trans, there's a dedicated transgender suicide hotline that's been launched, and it received all of its funding. They did crowdsourcing.
But they're still looking for continued funding to give them, pay their operating costs, basically.
Absolutely.
So you can still buy T-shirts.
Yeah. So Google Trans Lifeline. They're based out of San Francisco.
They're staffed by transgender individuals, which makes it quite special, because obviously there's probably several hotlines out there that exist for even the queer community, LGBT people. But it's very rare to get somebody on the line who actually is transgender and can understand where you're coming from, and in the language that you're using to describe how you're feeling. It really is unique to the trans experience. It's very, very different. And
absolutely,
having somebody who understands that helps a lot.
Yeah, I certainly know in my own moments of darkness, suicidal thoughts and actions, that calling the suicide hotlines, I talk to them and say, yeah, I'm transgender or whatever. And I had somebody say to me, they're like, oh, well, it's like, well, do your parents accept you for being a cross-dresser? And I just lost it. I was like,
well, I actually, I won't get too descriptive with it, but I had an incident where I was sexually assaulted. And I think I know what you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
And I was asked if I wanted to speak to somebody, so I sat down with this lady, and she asked me, a bunch of questions, and everything I had to say to her, the only response she had was, "Wow, that sounds so tough," which is horrible. I mean, she admitted that she had no way to relate to what I just went through. I mean, she can relate to the sexual assault part,
right?
But she has no way to relate to me because she's cis and I'm trans. So the way we experience that is different. The way we rationalize it is different. And I was crying the whole day. So, and it affected me. I didn't even know why it affected me until later.
Right.
But I was crying and I was upset, and this lady was completely unhelpful because she had no idea how to talk to me.
So that's why this is so significant, to have people who just have some idea of what you may be going through. Might not have experienced the same thing, but it certainly helps. So that number for the Trans Lifeline, and again, you can just Google this, Trans Lifeline, 877-565-8860. Number again for the Trans Lifeline is 877-565-8860. So if you need some help, or anybody else who has gender identity questions for themselves, or are experiencing a hard time, or trans, or openly out already, or thinking about transitioning, or just transition themselves, please you reach out. Get the resources are there. You're not going to be penalized. Nobody's going to judge you. Nothing's going to happen to you. That's the whole point of all this. So as always, we encourage you to be safe.
Do you have another news item?
Yes, we do. Gosh, there's all this emo stuff right now. It's horrible.
We're bad at going off on tangents too.
Yeah, maybe that's the reason why we have a radio show. So,
I should say we're good at it.
Next article from PlanetTransgender.com. Turkish transgender woman commits suicide. I could quote, I could not, comma, did not allow, end quote. And so we'll be covering that in a moment here.
And I want to point out that some of the news articles we're reading are stuff that is a little bit old.
Right.
It's not super current, but it's stuff that we still want to cover.
Right. Next article is, why are trans women treated like outcasts in the feminist community? And that's a good one, I think.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get into that.
We still have to get a TERF on here.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
We need to find, well, not necessarily a TERF, but we should at least try to find somebody who's an outspoken feminist.
Right.
Not necessarily somebody who doesn't like trans women. I mean, that'd be great too if we can get a trans exclusionary TERF. So
yeah. So what exactly is TERF again?
Trans exclusionary radical feminist.
Okay. So,
meaning they're feminists who do not like trans women. They still view us as men in dresses.
And we will get into
invading female spaces.
Yes.
Like vampires.
Yes. Like, so okay.
Or Black Widows.
Oh gosh. Don't bring up Black Widow. So that's a reference to something else. Next article from the BBC. Russia says drivers must not have sex No, I can't do it like that. Russia says drivers must not have sex disorders. This is.
I thought you were saying Russia was saying that drivers should not have sex.
Well,
this is a good law, actually.
This is a good law.
Because having sex while you're driving, very bad idea.
Yeah.
Unless you're driving the Google car that drives itself, right? You know.
This is true. I mean, like.
But they don't have that in Russia yet.
No, they don't. So.
Yeah. Don't drive and have sex.
I mean, you've seen those dashboard. You've seen those dashboard cams that you probably don't want to be having sex while driving in Russia anyway. Anyway, that is actually a very serious subject. Next on the agenda, if we can get to it, is gendertherapist.com, which is an online gender therapist service.
Online gender therapy.
Yeah, so.
And it's I believe it's actually a legitimate therapy that counts for, going on hormones and getting approved for surgery.
Wow, that's pretty incredible.
Mm-hmm.
So that website is gendertherapist.com, in case we do not get to it. If you want any of these links, we will be posting them up on the queerlife.org. You can subscribe to facebook.com/thequeerlife, where all these articles are put out on a somewhat regular basis. You won't get spammed all at once. It's pretty reasonable. Twitter @thequeerlife. You can follow us on YouTube, youtube.com/thequeerliferadio, and or you can just find all those links on thequeerlife.org. We got all the links at the top right of the screen. All right, so we are going to take a very, very short little musical break here for you here, and so stay tuned here. We're going to talk about an article, then we're going to do a little break on the hour, and so we just got some good stuff for you here. As always, we want to give you the information, not because we want to tell you what to do, not because not because we want you to all of a sudden have to start crusading for the queer community. If you do, that's awesome. But I don't know, I know a lot of you out there are wondering why the heck do you need to have a show called The Queer Life? Why? So I don't know. So I'm kind of getting a little emotional right now. I don't know why. This is
like why do we have a show called The Queer Life, or why is it necessary?
Why is it necessary? I mean,
it's necessary because it's an underserved community that doesn't often get to have their voices heard, in public spaces and on the airwaves, and especially for us being trans. There's not really any trans-centric media out there. There's queer and LGBT-centric that deals with trans issues, but this show typically has been pretty much 24 episodes in has been trans-centric.
Yeah.
Which I think is a good thing. I mean, we cover everything that's important, in the queer community, but we try to stick to trans stories because those are the ones that are important to us. And those are the ones that need to be told because they're not really told as much as the others.
Right. Mm-hmm. All right. If any of you all are tuning in right now for the first time, you are listening to the Queer Life radio show, LGBT News, Modern Perspectives, Roundtable Discussions, and Interviews. I am your host, Kaya Kramer. I'm joined, as always, with my co-host, Mandy Howards. And not going to say anything this time.
I'm just going to stare.
You're just going to stare. It's just like my little cat, Little Kitty.
Me too.
Yeah. You ever notice how like cats just like stare at you sometimes? Like, sorry, I love kitties anyway.
Which is super relevant to everything we're talking about.
Exactly. Sad stuff and then kitties. Lionel knows. Anywho, enjoy, so some of the music I'm going to play right here. Again, we've got the rights for all of this music. If you'd like links to any of this music, go to thequeerlife.org/music. Have links to queer artists that we've featured on the show or are going to interview. And all the links are free. So, and Creative Commons. So you can use their stuff in whatever you want. Just give them attribution where attribution is due. So everything you hear here is legal and legit and awesome. Okay, please enjoy some music from Alyssa, who is a trans TG pop recording artist. All right, stay tuned. The Queer Life Radio Show on KBBF 89.1 FM.
Hi, everyone. Over here. Hi. Over here. Alyssa. Over here. Thanks so much for the support. This is April from EPN. Can I get an exclusive? I'd love to look stunning.
This is for the glamorous people in the world. Let's go. So much me, so glamorous. Watch me. Watch me. Watch me. Watch me. Looking so glam, got my makeup on, with my stilettos high and my shiny rhinestones. Got my lashes, mascara on, real thick. Now you know I don't play around when it comes to this. Looking glamorous, it's in my DNA. Shining brighter than stars, if we couldn't make it rain. Name brands and the hottest styles, drive them boys all kinds of wild. Watch me. Watch me. So glamorous, feeling so fabulous. So glamorous, everybody looking at us, 'cause we're all so glamorous. And it's flashing anywhere we go. See us in tabloids, always getting exposed. When we hit the cover, not a blemish inside. We are the role models, makeup does us right. We got that look that everyone dreams about. We got that stunner that people always talk about. Looking good with my red lipstick on, designer dress and heels to walk the runway on. Watch me. Watch me. So glamorous, feeling so fabulous. glamorous, so fierce, so unstoppable, so beautiful, it's undeniable, so gorgeous. Why would you wanna disagree? When you see me, it's me looking so. Watch me, watch me, watch me, watch me, watch me, yeah, yeah. So glamorous, feeling so fabulous, so glamorous. Everybody looking at us, 'cause we're all so glamorous, so glamorous, feeling so fabulous, so glamorous. Everybody looking at us, 'cause we're all so glamorous, so glamorous, so glamorous.
I love it. I don't know why I even bother. If a man is gonna love me, he's gonna love me for me.
Tells me how beautiful I am, even if I don't see it. He sees behind the image, and he makes me believe it. He's the only one who knew where my heart is, and the only one who could ever get to it. He's something special to me. He wraps me up so tight, I kinda like the feeling. He gives me insight, sleeps by my side at night. The only one I can say, it feels so right. He sees my beauty from deep within. He captures my smile even when it's thin. He brings down the God that I held up high. He makes me feel the night if I get by. He truly knows who I am inside. He's never one to judge or deny. He sees my beauty as him alone. He really sees it without me. He writes me up so tight, I'm kinda like the feeling. He gives me insight, sleeps by my side at night. The only one I can say, it feels so right. Sees my beauty from deep within. He captures my smile even when it's thin. He breaks down the God that I held up high. He makes me feel the night if I get by. He truly knows who I am inside. He's never one to judge or deny. He sees my beauty as him alone. He even sees it without makeup on. Oh, 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 without makeup on. Without makeup on. Without makeup on. He can see through all the hurt and all the pain I've been through. He can see my strength even when I feel bruised. He gives me words of wisdom and helps me to grow. He just don't know how much I needed it so. It captures my smile even when it's thin. It breaks down the God that I held up high. It makes me feel like
Está usted escuchando KBBF 89.1 FM Calistoga.
Salsa.
KBBF, tu estación de radio comunitaria, te invita a ti y a toda tu familia a su primer evento Cena Baile del Año, el próximo 17 de enero, desde las 6 de la tarde hasta las 10 de la noche. En el Centro de Carpinteros, en el 1700 de la Avenida Corby, en Santa Rosa. Habrá música del locutor de KBBF, Rubén Sandoval, del programa Ritmos Santillanos, con clases para bailar salsa y bachata por los maestros Pablo López y Antonio Morán de la organización Sonoma Latin Arts. Tendremos sabrosa comida y bebidas a la venta. La entrada solamente $10 por adulto, 15 por pareja, 5 estudiantes y niños menores de 12 años entran gratis. Vengan, bailen y disfruten. Este es un evento para recaudar fondos para KBBF. Para mayor información, comunícate al 707-545-8883 o también comunícate con el locutor en turno al 707-545-0318. 707-545-0318. Aquí te esperamos.
La lectura es una habilidad indispensable para el desarrollo del lenguaje y el éxito académico de sus hijos. Ayúdelos a adoptar ese hábito desde una edad temprana. Con libros de cuentos ilustrados, vea que sus hijos aprendan a decir los nombres de animales y otras cosas para ayudarlos a incrementar su vocabulario. Recuerde que usted, como padre o madre, es el primer maestro de sus hijos. Comience exponiéndolos a la lectura. Mensaje de la Universidad de California.
Desde Santa Rosa, para el norte de California, transmite KBBF 89.1 FM.
All right. Hello, everybody. You are listening to The Queer Life, LGBT news, modern perspectives, roundtable discussions, and interviews. I am your host, Kaya Kramer, and I'm joined as always with my co-host, Mandy Howard. So anticlimactic.
I know.
There we go.
Oh my God, I'm so glad to be here.
Oh my gosh, so happy to have you.
Is this like a real radio station?
I think we just like lost like 1,000 listeners there.
Wait, we had 1,000 listeners?
Come on, we have 5 million listeners.
We have potential reach of 5 million people.
Yeah. What is it you say? 5 million to 5 million?
No, we have a reach of between 5 to 5 million people.
Okay, that sounds about right. Okay.
We're somewhere in between there. I'm sure we have at least 5.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, you know, our massive, ginormous listenership on. Oh my god!
But you know what? We're growing every day,
just all the time.
Keep going.
You're doing great, Mandy. Just keep. Oh my gosh! I think we're gonna like tell.
That's Asian Betty.
Yeah, there. I dragged Mandy to
Bikram yoga.
To Bikram, yeah.
Hot yoga.
Yeah,
it's super hot.
That's the super hot yoga, and
I wanted to kill you.
I was like, "This is great. You'll love it. It's a good workout. You just like you sweat out all your toxins. Blah blah blah." And it's just like, oh
hey, I didn't leave the room.
Oh my god! I'm gonna do like.
Yeah.
That's
you. I don't know if our guest could hear that. She just played a laugh track.
No, I'm gonna do it again. Yeah. See, I'm getting fancy here.
You're very fancy now.
I know. Yeah. No. I was like, you're welcome. Yeah, that's you guys been a great audience.
That's horrible.
I know.
I don't think we need sound effects.
Yes, we do. There we go.
Oh, somebody's here.
Oh yeah, that's our news segment. Anyway, I brought
on.
Yeah.
Are we gonna
whatever? Okay, that story was pointless.
We're gonna move on to our news talk.
We're gonna move on. So, advice for America from parents who support their transgender kids from BuzzFeed. Just gonna read a little bit of the beginning here. Mary Moss had to make a decision when her child came out as a transgender boy. Quote, "My choice was a live son or a dead daughter," Moss said. Quote, "I don't see what choice I have, and I am certainly not going to be my child's first bully. So I said, we're going to do this." Many parents choose differently. 17-year-old Leila Alcorn killed herself in December, leaving behind a suicide note that described how her parents censored her gender expression, cut her off from her friends, and pulled her out of school. They sent her to conversion therapy, which we spoke about in a previous episode. Alcorn wrote, where Christian counselors said that I was selfish and wrong and I should look to God for help. Far from an anomaly, Alcorn's tragic death is part of a well-documented pattern. Research shows transgender children rejected by their families are far more likely to commit suicide even after their daughter died. Carla and Doug Alcorn rejected her gender identity, telling reporters that they loved their, quote, son. So this is a pretty darn long article, but the message is clear.
Well, we played that video of the young trans girl. She was like 3 when she came out, and the video was done by the mom, and it had little stick figures. Remember that one?
Yeah, oh my god, that's beautiful.
Yeah, it's super beautiful, and it plays into this article right here. And basically, what it's talking about is that it's all about a mother coming to terms with having lost her son and gaining a daughter. And from the child's perspective, from the girl's perspective, she's never been a boy. She's always been a girl. There never was a boy. And we'd explain that, to many people before. I explained it to my parents that, even though they raised a son, it to me, it wasn't like that. To me, I was never a son. I was never a boy. I was just playing it being one. I was playing one on TV, just playing the part, going along with everything, but it was never real. It was never me. And that kind of understanding is necessary for a parent to help support their child. In other words, they have to come to terms with that idea that they don't have a daughter or don't have a son, that they have whatever that child identifies as. And I don't know if children identify as like gender queer when they're younger or gender fluid. I've not really heard of that. But as far as being transgender and identifying as either male or female, the best advice I have for most parents, and I think I was writing about this recently online, is to hug your child, let them know you love them, and that you support them and you want to help them. Now, this is even in the sense that you don't accept what's going on or it's hard for you. Just because it's hard for you, imagine how hard it is for that child. They've been holding on to this for a while, possibly, depending on their age. And some of us have held on to it for decades.
Right.
And we're still our parents' children. And I'm not, when I say you're a child, I'm not just talking about a child is in underage or anything like that. I'm talking about, no matter how old you are, when you're 50, you're still your parents' child.
Right.
So whenever your child chooses to come out to you, whether that be 5 years old or 50 years old, it needs to be handled with a bit of care and understanding. And you may not accept everything right away. You may not want to accept it. You may not like what's going on. You may not understand it. But you should try to seek answers before you react, before you throw them out of the house. Seek help, seek therapy. They have a really great group therapy for families of transgender children. They have support groups in many areas for families of transgender children, including here in Sonoma County. They have Parents of Transgender Children support group.
Yes.
In Positive Images.
Yeah, run by Jackie,
who we had on the show.
Right. Actually, one of the earlier episodes of the Queer Life. So, and just to respond to that, it's a lot of parents, and rightfully so, that they question everything that's happening.
Yeah.
Completely reasonably. This is understandable. But I hear a lot of parents saying, well, why would they do this to me?
Well, yeah, they're not doing it to you, right? Obviously, they're doing it.
I know, yeah.
It's not even really anything that they're doing.
Right.
What they are doing is they are allowing you to see who they are fully. They're showing their true selves to you. They're letting you in on their deepest, darkest feelings about themselves, and showing that to the world, and showing that to them, to their parents especially. That's super hard to do. I mean, when I first came to my parents, I didn't know how to break it to them, so I told them I was a cross-dresser. Right. Like I told them that, like, oh, my girlfriend likes it,
Yeah.
and we're into that.
Blame her, right?
I blamed her, yeah. I blamed her, and they're like, they were kind of cool with it. They were like, oh, okay, we can accept this. But then, like, literally a week later, I'm like, I felt really guilty about blaming my girlfriend at the time that I had.
Right, as you should have.
So I basically came out to them fully a week later, and that's when everything went wrong for a little bit. They weren't very accepting. I mean, I never got disowned. I was very, very lucky. I didn't get kicked out of the house. But at the same time, they had an incredibly hard time dealing with what it meant for me, what it meant for them, what it meant for our relationship. They don't know how to deal with it. And of course, I came out in my 30s or my late 20s, and I've been dealing with it for over a decade myself. I came out to myself long time ago, right? So I've been dealing with it for a long time. So I've had time to get used to knowing what it is that I am and what I am not. And you're springing it on your parents. They may have a negative reaction. It doesn't mean they're going to stay negative. My family right now is one of the most supportive families that I could ever hope for. I mean, I'm getting surgery soon, and they're coming up for my surgery. So, I mean, I really can't ask for anything better than that. I mean, they're completely supportive. So they didn't start out that way, but now they're this way. And that's not going to be the trajectory for every experience of coming out. But at the same time, it's an example of one way of doing it.
Absolutely. And you never know how things are going to happen. If you come out to your parents, and of course, your parents better than anybody else, but I think Mandy said this earlier. You don't know your parents as well as you think you do.
Exactly. Yeah. I thought I knew my parents really, really well. I thought they taught us growing up to be open to everybody. That my mom always said, you can come to me and tell me anything, and I'll understand it, and I'll work with you. We'll work it out. And they were the kind of parents who taught us to be kind to everybody, no matter what they look like, no matter what they dress like, no matter who they were. In fact, I remember meeting a transgender woman when I was younger. My mother was telling me to refer to her as a girl, and talking about how beautiful she was, and she was very accepting of this woman, right? So it was very surprising to me when I decided to come out, their reaction. Their reaction was completely opposite to the way they had taught me to be. So I thought I knew them because of the way they were teaching me, but that doesn't mean that that's the way they think.
Right.
So a lot of the time, you can be very, very surprised by your parents because they don't tell you everything. They don't show you emotions sometimes, especially fathers can tend to hide a lot of emotion from their children. So the children read that as being aggressive toward them or uncaring toward them. And so they may read that as, if I come out to my father, he's going to hurt me, he's going to be angry because, that's how you relate to him in the past with other issues.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that's how it's going to play out this way. But at the same time, there are parents like the audio we played of the young gay kid who came out to his parents. It ended horribly.
Oh,
I mean, they were literally assaulting him at one point. So, yeah, it does go wrong.
Yeah, throwing him out of the house.
This
is a young queer boy, gay boy. And so as many people like to think that, it's like, oh, well, gay is accepted now. Well, not everywhere.
Not everywhere. Not really. I mean, it's kind of like the people, and I'm sure they talk about this on the Broken Record radio show. A lot, the idea that people keep trying to say that racism is no longer a thing, but that's totally not true. I mean, it's still out there, still pervasive everywhere you go, just about. Maybe people in some areas are getting better at hiding it, but it's still there and it still needs to be addressed. And the same thing with gay and lesbian people. Just because things are getting better doesn't mean we're done. It doesn't mean we don't need to do anymore. There's always more to do because people are always going to have hypocritical views, misogynistic views against women, homophobic views against gay men and lesbians.
Right.
And especially in our case, we're not even we're just barely to the point to where some things are starting to get better in some areas.
Right.
But there's so much more work to do in the realm of racism, sexism, homophobia, and transphobia. I mean, it goes all across the board, and there's so much to do. And some of those issues overlap, right?
Another part of this article that I really like is faced with transgender children coming out at increasingly younger ages, families are showing acceptance and support. In interviews with BuzzFeed News, parents said even deeply religious, politically conservative families can love and respect their transgender children without compromising faith or ideology. The results, they say, are kids living happy lives.
Well, I'm not a very religious person. I was raised Roman Catholic. But everything I know about Christianity and Judaism, Islam, all that, especially when it comes to family, is that you have to love your children. And I don't know of any way in which a loving God or Jesus or whatever would hate you for loving your child, right? And the messages throughout all of these holy books is always about love and caring for your family, especially caring for your family. They may not care as much about other people, but especially for your family, you always back your family up. You always have your family's back, right? So the idea that if I don't disown my gay child, God is going to punish me, to me is stupid. I mean, it's completely stupid. God wants you to love your children. Again, I'm not a religious person, but I would have to believe that God would want you to love your child, even if they were different from you.
Yeah. Well, this next part says, rejection at home sharply exacerbates the risk of suicide. LGBT youth from, quote, highly rejecting households are more than 8 times more likely to attempt suicide than those in supportive households, according to a 2009 study by researchers at San Francisco State University's Family Acceptance Project. Those researchers also found seemingly less hostile behaviors, such as silence or discouraging discussion about a teen's LGBT identity, were experienced by teens as dangerous forms of rejection.
To me, it's a lot like the therapist community, especially back in the 80s and the 90s, where when you went to therapy, their job was to convince you that you're not transgender, and they were going to shock you with electrodes to your head. They were going to try to do all that. And now the community has shifted, and their job is now to support our transition, to support what we're doing and to make it easier on us, right? And that should be the mission of every parent. Whether or not you agree with what's going on, you should support your child in what they're doing and make sure that they're doing it safely, that they're doing it with the love and support of their family and their family members, and that it goes smoothly. Whether or not you agree with what they're doing, that's not the point. The point is that you're supposed to love and support your child no matter what. And that's unconditional, right? And most parents, even very religious parents, say they have unconditional love for their family, for their children especially. So unconditional means if your child comes out as gay or trans, you still got to love them. You still got to support them. You don't have to be happy with what they're doing. I'm not asking people to be happy with it
or agree with it.
Or agree with it. But at the very least, make sure that your child has a safe haven, somewhere that they can go to that they know.
It's your job as their parents.
Yeah. Just like when the bully's chasing you, you get to your house and you go home.
Yeah.
Can't touch me, right?
Yeah.
So that's the idea, is you want to have a place you can run to when you're being hurt.
Right.
And when your family disowns you, where do you go after that? All of a sudden you've lost your safe haven, you've lost your home. It's really hard to find a new one, to find a place where you feel safe. And so that's the main thing that you as a parent should do, is give your child a safe place to run home to.
Yeah, what's the statistic? 1 in 5 homeless youth are LGBT.
Mm-hmm.
And that's pretty significant there.
Yeah.
So and we're gonna be moving on to the next subject. Oh, before we go on to the next subject. Okay, that's
what was that?
I want to announce what next week's episode is.
At least you're not playing really, really loud noises and giving me a PTSD attack.
I'm so sorry.
I almost had a heart attack.
I feel so bad about that. But anyway, see, that's better.
Oh, so in our episode next week, episode 25.
Yeah,
actually, that's a cool kind of number, right? 25.
Yeah,
episode 25. We're going to be premiering our interview that we've talked about previously, right? We're going to premiere the epic. How long is it?
It's about an hour long.
About an hour long. We're going to premiere our first big, huge celebrity interview.
Yeah, or trans celebrity.
Trans celebrity.
Yeah.
Well, she's a celebrity.
Yes.
Regardless.
And
especially to us.
Especially to us.
Especially to us.
Yeah, it's
and she is the first transgender MMA fighter, the first and the only one as far as I know. And she's been stirring up controversy just because of being who she is. Obviously, she's not doing it herself. But people around her are stirring up controversy, and they're talking about her all over the place, especially in that community. And we got to sit down and have an interview with her. And it also marks the first time that Mandy is pretty much on camera. Yeah, right?
Pretty awesome.
Because usually I'm behind your camera and nobody sees me.
Yeah. Because it's... we need to have a little switcher thing, and I need another camera, and
we'll get that hooked up.
Yeah,
eventually. We'll be high tech.
Yeah, we'll have an engineer. We'll have it's like Frasier. It's
so yeah, we're gonna be interviewing Fallon Fox.
Yeah,
transgender MMA fighter, and we got to talk to her quite a bit, not just about being a fighter, but just about being trans, which to us, honestly, is more important and more interesting.
Right.
I mean, obviously we know of her because she's a fighter, but being trans women, we wanted to get to know her more as a trans woman and not so much as a fighter, because we see her fight and we got to talk about it for a bit. But
yeah,
I really liked the idea that we actually spent a lot of time talking about her life as a trans woman growing up and the things that she went through. So it's going to be pretty amazing.
Yeah, so we are incredibly excited to share that with you. That will be next Friday. And our show is every Friday, 6 to 8 p.m. If you are just tuning in right now, you've been listening to the Queer Life Radio Show, LGBT news, modern perspectives, roundtable discussions, and interviews. I am your host, Kaya Kramer, with my co-host, Mandy Howard. We've been sharing some news from the queer community. The news will be a little bit trans-centric just because
as always, we... get to our first news item and talk about it for almost the entirety of the show.
Right. So we are going to move on to the next subject here. I'm just having too much fun with these sound effects. Anyhow, Michael Sam proposed to Vito Comisano.
Wait.
You don't love me. Come on, I know you.
Why'd you use a gong?
I know. It just seemed perfect. Go on to the next.
All right, go ahead.
Anyhow, Michael Sam proposed to Vito Comisano at the Vatican. Was Pope Francis in on it? This is from Planet Transgender.
That's not part of the article.
No. You may have heard that football player Michael Sam got engaged to Vito Comisano while on vacation in Italy. But the couple announced on social media Friday that Sam got down on one knee at St. Peter's Basilica in Vatican City. The former St. Louis Rams and Dallas Cowboys defensive end, the first openly gay NFL player drafted and now a free agent, celebrated his 25th birthday in Italy with Comisano. The Vatican is the home base for Pope Francis, who has generally been more accepting of LGBT Catholics, but recently said family is threatened by growing efforts on the part of some to redefine the very institution of marriage by relativism, by the culture of the ephemeral, by lack of openness to life. The Vatican later confirmed the Pope's comments were indeed related to same-sex marriage.
I was really hoping that the Pope, at the very least, threw some rice at the wedding or something.
That would it be descending down from his Pope Mobile?
The Pope Mobile.
Yeah, that's what it's called, right?
That's what it's popular in popular culture. They call it Pope. I don't think that's its actual title.
So this is some pretty incredible stuff. I mean, first off, the first openly gay NFL player.
Actually, when I was reading Michael Sam in my head, I was thinking Sam Smith.
Sam Smith,
the singer.
I don't know Sam Smith.
Openly gay singer.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Stay With Me.
That's right. Yeah, word. We would play that except Creative Commons royalty licensing.
Well, we can play it on the radio. We just can't play it online.
This is true.
Yeah, we can play just about every song on the radio, but they get censored online.
That's the one song that goes, "Stay with me."
Yeah,
because you're all I need. That's a good song.
Look, we just got censored.
I know, right? Censored. Google, God, Google hates me right now. Anyway,
so they got married in the Vatican or near the Vatican?
They got. What?
This says St. Peter's Basilica.
Yeah, they Vatican, the Vatican. In Vatican City. At St. Peter's Basilica.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I doubt the Pope would have allowed on grounds at the Vatican to.
That would be pretty incredible.
You should just do it on the down low, like a guerrilla wedding.
Yeah, that's true.
Just show up with everybody that you need and do your vows super quick before anyone can stop you.
Absolutely.
We should set this up.
So I mean, the amazing thing about this though is a lot of people think, oh well, being gay is accepted now. It's like nobody, it's like I hear a lot of cis straight people say, well, nobody really cares anymore. It's like it's cool, it doesn't matter. I've got gay friends, blah blah blah. Let them get married, but this is still big news. There's a big portion.
I actually still have people try to tell me that they know some gay people when they talk to me, and then I realize that they're trying to say that they're cool with me because they know some gay people.
It's like, oh yeah. It's like
I had a gay friend once.
Yeah. It's like, oh yeah, I'm transgender. It's like, oh no, it's cool. We don't mind. It's cool. I got plenty of gay friends.
Yeah, okay. Funny.
It's like, so what does that have to do with me?
Hey, do you know so and so, like the gay guy down there? You don't know?
Oh yeah. No, I don't actually.
Yeah, I don't know every gay guy here.
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, we show up to a gay country club and it's like
we exchange phone numbers.
Yeah, it's like gay phone numbers though.
They're just numbers that kind of look like girly.
Yeah, I send transsexual texts.
What's our next? Do we have to go on a break?
Oh, yeah, let's go on a break here. It's like we'll do like a.
You gotta stop for the gong.
What is it? Because I'm Asian?
Yeah, it's just not right. I'm feeling very racist right now.
Okay, so we're gonna go on a little break here. Or at least we're going to stop talking for a moment here. I'm going to play a little segment from the Trans Atheist podcast, which can be found on thequeerlife.org. Trans Atheist podcast is part of the Queer Life family, and which is by the transitive property of multiplication. Sorry, no, it's a part of KBBF. So, Maddie Love, Trans Atheist podcast. I asked her for she's from out there in Minnesota and actually stays up late to listen to the show.
Oh, awesome.
Fantastic. We've had her on the show before.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll probably have her on this show again because she's got a pretty fascinating story, but she does some really great programming, and sometimes I think she sounds more serious than I do. But we're so happy to have her. Anyway, Trans Atheist podcast segment. From thequeerlife.org, which is an extension of KBBF. All right, check it out. And we're going to play some words from our sponsors, and we will be back to talk about more queer news. You've been listening to the Queer Life radio show, LGBT news, modern perspectives, roundtable discussions, and interviews. I am your host, Kaya Kramer, with my co-host, Mandy Howard. All right, enjoy this.
I'd planned to ride my bicycle all the way up here, but I'm a wimp and it snowed.
Not about being a wimp.
So I'm happy to have the opportunity to have a conversation with some of the crew from Grease Rag in the home of Ginny, one of the Grease Rag crew. thank you, Jenny, for allowing us to use your house.
You betcha.
And for the tea and the heat.
And the heat.
For anybody that is just listening, like if they hear the word grease rag, what should come to mind?
So when I think of grease rag, I think of the community around it. I think of the safe, inclusive spaces that whether it's rides that you can go to, the open shop nights where you can learn to work on your bike, whether it is going to any of the events or any of the smaller sponsored stuff that Grease Rag just lets us know about. It shows that there's going to be a place where I feel comfortable. And I think that I think it's a community. I think that's a really great way to state it because there's so many different things that are going on with it.
I agree with Ginny. I think that the best way to describe Grease Rag is as a community, and that's how I think of it as my community. What happens with Grease Rag is this idea of a safer space, right? And this inclusivity. And what that means is not that you come into a space and you are gender variant or you're trans or, whatever it is that you feel you need to do, that you don't come into the space and we're like, we don't just tolerate it. There's not this concept of like tolerance, but rather a concept in which we're actively working to make people comfortable and to be curious and joyful and accepting of everyone who walks in. And so it's a space of like intentionality that's really important. It's different than a women's biking because we sort of reach out to other folks who are marginalized in the biking community. So not just women, but people who are trans and femme who also obviously need a place to learn how to ride and get their roots deeper and just have a good time because we have a really, really fun time. So that's what Grease Rag is to me, I guess. Miss Brenda?
I would just like to add the fact that it's like a giant group hug.
Right. It is.
It is.
And that's what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
A really empowering, a really empowering group hug. Yeah. And there's a lack of competitiveness too, which I think is really important to me.
There are specific events where we invite the allies to come, but the open shops are not. The open shops are just women, trans, femme. We're pretty clear with each event that we organize and even on our Facebook page, it's open now to the cisgender too, which I think it's a good thing in creating more education for people that don't necessarily know where or how to ask questions of this nature. So, but it's pretty clear when allies are welcome and when they're not.
So can you explain how you encourage and empower women, trans, and femme cyclists?
We go around in the group and everybody's an individual. It is state year.
Estás escuchando KBBF 89.1 FM, Radio Cultura, Calistoga, Santa Rosa.
Dear friends, this is an invitation to join this great community project, KBBF. If you're interested in learning about community radio, call us at 707-545-8833 and sign up for our training course for KBBF volunteers. The first meeting will take place on Saturday, January 24th at 10 a.m. here at the KBBF Studios, 1700 Corby Avenue, Suite B in Santa Rosa. Don't miss this opportunity in this new year to add your voice to the voice of your community, KBBF. Call us 707-545-8833 and sign up for the KBBF Volunteer Training Course.
Hi, this is Adam Rodriguez. Did you know that today 1 out of every 4 American kids is Hispanic? That means many of the future doctors, engineers, scientists, and entrepreneurs of our country can be your kids. We all know how hard it is for you to send them to college. This is why we want you to know you are not alone. Many support you, and the Hispanic Scholarship Fund helps you prepare, plan, and pay for your kids' college education. Learn more at hsf.net. Brought to you by the Hispanic Scholarship Fund and the Ad Council.
Las expresiones y comentarios no representan la ideología de KBBF ni la mesa directiva, sino que es la responsabilidad de sus actores.
All right, everybody, you are listening to The Queer Life LGBT News. Modern Perspectives, roundtable discussions, and interviews. I am your host, Kaya Kramer, with my co-host, Mandy Howards.
Karate chop.
Karate chop. Well, I don't have that sound
Do you got a
effect.
credit? You don't get a credit?
No, I
Well,
need-
just do the gong again.
Yeah, so... And so, I love that. It's my favorite. So we're going to continue our news segment here. We've been talking about trans children being accepted by their parents from the BuzzFeed article. Talked about Michael Sam, first openly gay football player, proposing to his fiance, future husband.
Well, he was the first openly gay football player drafted to the NFL.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And now we are onwards and upwards to, I wanted to cover, Daily Caller op-ed blames LGBT community for suicide of transgender teen. This is on MediaMatters.org. The LGBT community's suicide strategy killed Leela Alcorn. An op-ed, the Daily Caller blamed the LGBT community for helping cause the tragic suicide of Leela Alcorn, a transgender teen who took her own life after being rejected by her religious parents. On Sunday, December 29th, the 17-year-old transgender teenager took her own life by walking in the traffic miles from her home in Ohio. In her suicide note, which online, Alcorn described the difficult conditions she faced in her life: unaccepting parents, religious conversion therapy, and isolation from her peers. Alcorn's death has become a rallying cry in the fight against transphobic discrimination and conversion therapy. LGBT youth raised in non-accepting religious families are much more likely to attempt suicide, and Alcorn's story is a heartbreaking example of the kind of anguish and hopelessness many LGBT youth experience when facing unwelcoming home environments. But according to David Benkoff in Daily Caller, it's the LGBT community that's to blame for Alcorn's suicide. In a January 7th op-ed titled, "The LGBT Community's Suicide Strategy Killed Leela Alcorn," freelance writer David Benkoff argues that Leela killed herself in order to help advance the LGBT agenda. This is a quote from David Benkoff's article. Because Leela's death, she was struck by a semi-trailer after stepping onto a highway, grew directly out of LGBT's community's long-standing rhetorical suicide strategy, which goes something like this: we need same-sex marriage because gay teens will kill themselves if they don't feel equal. Leela knew that the gay community habitually points to teen suicide as an impetus for social and political change. Sadly, she found meaning in trying to pitch in, hoping her death would further advance LGBT rights. Leela's death doesn't call for a retriad of pro-gay advocacy. Instead, it should be a sober opportunity for the LGBT community to re-examine its suicide strategy, lest they continue to encourage more Leelas. Benkoff goes off to argue that LGBT activists are, quote, almost gleeful about Alcorn's suicide because it gives them, quote, one more opportunity to gather sympathy for their social and political goals. In August, Benkoff blamed the appeal of Don't Ask, Don't Tell for the rise of rape in the military. As Media Matters has previously noted, Benkoff, formerly known as David Bianca, once identified as a gay man. But in 2003, he announced that he was actually bisexual and would abstain from sex with men for religious reasons. Since then, Benkoff has been a vocal opponent of marriage equality. He has urged the LGBT community to, quote, let go of their obsessive insistence on being treated equally at all costs, and opposed even basic non-discrimination protections, such as, quote, a threat to marriage. This is kind of a lot to sort through. I mean,
there was a lot there.
Yeah. Lionel, what do you...
Well, I mean, the idea that somebody would kill themselves simply to further a cause is completely, let's call it what it is ridiculous. I mean, she was suffering where she was at. She was being disowned by her family and persecuted by her family, and a lot of transgender people you know, they go through this and they kill themselves, and most of them know that for the most part nobody's really going to care. I mean, maybe the people in their immediate circle will care. And even in Leela's case, she put in her suicide note that she hopes that people care about it and that it helps shine a light on it, but that's not why she did it. She's aware that it could be, but as we talked about earlier, we were talking about the other suicide that we read the note for, where the girl had shot herself with a shotgun, and she basically kind of had the same wish that you know, that it wasn't in vain or whatever, but at the same time, her suicide, nobody really cared about it. It didn't become big news. So the idea that you're gonna kill yourself when everything is supposedly going amazing, just to have a political talking point and just be the middle of that, and it's completely absurd. I mean, I don't even know how a guy like this, especially
it's like he's accusing all the you know people that have committed suicide as being like martyrs for a cause.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing about a lot of martyrs is they don't necessarily die because they want to. They die because they have to. And in her case, she had to because of her situation, or she felt that she had to. Right?
Yeah.
And they become martyrs because of the people who are left behind.
Right.
The people who are left behind turn them into martyrs. They in other words, they say, we're not going to sit around her death go unanswered. We're not going to sit here and say, you know, she died, it's sad, let's move on. We're going to sit here and say that it matters and that her life matters, and that we need to address these issues, and these are real issues, and it will continue to happen unless we address them. I mean, that is the reality. Whether or not we promote these suicides for our causes, they're going to continue to happen. You know, they're going to continue to discriminate against transgender people, and transgender people are going to continue to kill themselves because of the pressure that they're put under. And most of us, a lot of us in this room, understand that pressure.
Yeah.
Very, very much. You know, I mean,
he's basically saying on his website that, I mean, when it comes down to it, he's saying we're doing this just to get attention.
Yeah. No,
And,
that Leela Alcorn has killed herself just to get attention for the movement.
No,
Right?
it's
it's ridiculous.
And when we share these stories of queer people being, you know, put into a situation where they feel like they need to take their lives, we're not doing it to encourage people that or say that there's no hope and you should just do it yourself or whatever. We share it because we need people to know that this is happening.
Well, the only way to make changes in a community is to be honest and open about everything, even the dirty stuff, the dark stuff. You got to be transparent, right? Not like the TV show. Oh God! I was having a serious moment, and you just ruined it. Now I lost my train of thought. So you talk now.
I'm sorry. You can continue. Go on. No, but the idea is we need to spread this awareness so that people can understand that not only is this happening, but that you need to do your part to make sure it doesn't happen in your own family, in your own community, amongst your friends. It's not. We've said this in previous episodes. It's not queer people who are going to make things better for queer people.
No.
It's
well we're the ones who need to be out there making sure that the rest of the world is aware of our lives and how we suffer, and even how we enjoy our lives too.
Right.
I mean, they need to be aware of all of it, and that's the idea behind the transparency argument, is that by allowing everything out onto the table, people can make better informed decisions. You know, when you know that certain behaviors lead to suicide, we can start talking about how we can address those behaviors. If we're not transparent, if we're not talking about the dark stuff, then we're only focusing on the things that are good, people are going to stop caring. They're going to stop worrying about it, and they're going to stop trying to change things that are bad.
Right.
Because we're too afraid to talk about them, because maybe we'll convince somebody that they should kill themselves for the cause, which is ridiculous, right?
Yeah.
But if we don't talk about it, if we don't address it, then it never gets fixed. Right.
Exactly. There's we wouldn't have this radio show if these things didn't continue to happen. So, oh gosh.
Well, the best format for a radio show would be to not have to talk about these issues at all, just to play awesome music from queer artists. That'd be a great show.
Yeah.
But we need that, but we also need what we're doing here, and what other shows are doing is that we're addressing topics that need to be listened to and discussed amongst other people.
Yeah.
And so we're just bringing those topics to people.
Absolutely. Okay, we got about 7 minutes left here before we're going to be wrapping up the show for this evening. Next article we have is Human Rights Commission sacks Fifth Avenue by suspending their equality index rating. The billion-dollar Wall Street firm versus Laith Jamal case will either set the stage for trans workspace equality or demolish it. Saks Fifth Avenue, operated by Hudson Bay's company and owned by the billion-dollar Wall Street investing firm NRDC, says it's legal to discriminate based on gender identity. This, in spite of the EEOC's stance in recent court rulings indicating otherwise. Transgender people are not implicitly included in the 1964 Civil Rights Act, so the outcome of this case will be of paramount importance to Laith Jamal and every transgender person. Saks Fifth Avenue has filed a motion to dismiss, attempting to invalidate Laith Jamal's trans status in most disrespectful fashion. Quote, plaintiff, a person of non-traditional gender and a former employee of Saks, filed this employment discrimination lawsuit under the Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964.
All right, hold on.
Blah, blah, blah.
Before you go on with more legal jargon, what they essentially did to her, what Saks did to this trans woman, was they forced her throughout her career there. However, I don't remember how long it lasted. But while she was working there, she was forced to use the men's restrooms, forced to, or aggressively encouraged to dress more masculine while at work. In other words, her identity was completely denied to her at work. And what they're saying is that because there is no federal law against discrimination towards trans women, in other words, the civil rights law, that it doesn't include transgender people, so they can therefore discriminate. Now, aside from the fact that they're just openly discriminating, it's just kind of weird, because they should, as a company, they should be aware of what the trends are, and the trends are towards trans inclusiveness, not exclusiveness, right?
Right.
In other words, if you have a big company like that, you don't want to be doing things to ruin your bottom line.
Right.
And that includes pissing off the queer community. Right, because queer community in America nowadays is huge, is strong, and even in Europe and in other countries where Saks has stores all over the world, especially here in the States and New York and stuff like that. And so they're going up against a very strong community that's gaining more and more power. And so the idea that they would openly discriminate just because they can, I mean, yeah, maybe they can because of the way the law is written, but the fact that they would do it just because they can is kind of puzzling to me, because look where everything's going.
Right.
We're going towards inclusiveness, right? We're not headed the other way. So you would think they would get on board with that. And hey, this is going to mean more money for us as a company, right? We support transgender individuals. That means more money. That means more people who bring money to our stores, spend awesome amounts of cash, buy awesome stuff.
Yeah.
It's great. But like a lot of companies before them, Chick-fil-A, and even Target a while ago had a really low rating on the HRC index. They weren't very inclusive to the LGBT community. They are today. They're very supportive of the LGBT community, but they turned it around because of that pressure put on them by the HRC. You know, in the fact that they were losing sales from the LGBT community. And as a businessman, businesswoman, business person, you should look at that as a group of people who you want their money. So you shouldn't be excluding anybody, especially an employee.
Absolutely. Just bring in more customers and move all ahead. Okay, so we're going to be wrapping up here for the 24th episode of the Queer Life Radio Show. We started in August 1st, or I think.
I feel like we've been on the air for like a year.
I know, right? And we will continue to be on. We're gonna probably be having a double broadcast coming up soon once we can get the logistics all figured out.
And what wasn't there some worry at some point when we first started that we would run out of things to talk about?
That's fun. Yeah, it's like, okay, you know, so
how can you fill a 2-hour spot? You know, it's kind of hard. It's hard to fill 2 hours.
You know, we could fill a 2-hour spot just talking about one article.
Yeah. We can fill a 2-hour spot talking about our dog if we wanted to.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not hard to do.
No.
I don't know if people will listen to it.
Right. Well, I mean, I get, people are listening to it.
They are listening, and we're enjoying their having them with us.
So we want to thank you all so much for listening to the Queer Life Radio Show, LGBT news, modern perspectives, roundtable discussions, and interviews.
Oh my God, you gotta stop that.
I am your host, Kaya Kramer, joined as always with my co-host, Mandy Howard.
No gong. No.
Okay, I won't do it.
Keep your finger away.
Thank you all so much for listening. Again, tune in next week on Friday from 6 to 8 p.m. We'll be interviewing Fallon Fox, first transgender MMA cage fighter. She kicks some serious butts, and so tune in, check it out. It's gonna be some great stuff. She's huge. Joe Rogan doesn't like her, but
But who cares about Joe Rogan?
But fear is not a factor. So.
No. Oh my God. Now it's time to go off the air.
All right. Thank you all so much. Have a good Friday night. Be safe. Don't drink and drive. Don't text and drive. I'm okay.
Don't have sex and drive.
Don't have sex and drive. All right. Take care. Good night.